This podcast is brought to you by Giant Food. And today, more than ever, they are committed to you because we are all in this together so we can continue to share the little things that matter.
Recorded live from the lobby of the Line Hotel in Adams Morgan, Washington, D.C. Full Service Radio is proudly supported and hosted by Simplecast, the easiest way for a podcast creator to publish and distribute audio on the internet. For more information, visit simplecast.com.
Peace, everyone, and welcome to the Edible Activist Podcast. I'm your host, Melissa L. Jones, broadcasting live from the lobby of the Line, D.C. This podcast is where dynamic people of color in the food and agriculture space share their personal food journeys, passions, and perspectives that stem from the land, all exemplifying the spirit of activism in their own edible way. Let's get started. And welcome to the Edible Activist Podcast. I'm your host, Melissa L. Jones, broadcasting here on Full Service Radio. So I want to welcome back a very special guest today. I have Tambra Raye Stevenson, who is a food systems innovator and founder of Where's WANDA, which stands for Women Advancing Nutrition, Dietetics, and Agriculture. She is also the creator of Nativsol, which serves to connect folks back to the African diaspora through food. Her work also spans from health and food equity to serving on the DC Food Policy Council and as the health chair for the NAACP DC branch. Tambra is a mom, speaker, scholar, world traveler, and the list goes on. Welcome back to Edible Activist, Tambra. You're alum now, girlfriend. You are alum.
I appreciate it. And now all I'm traveling is from the living room to the kitchen to my room.
Hello. We've been some places, okay?
Most definitely.
So Tambra, first off, how have you been navigating how have you been navigating in this new norm now, as we just, spit out all the wonderful accolades, and that list isn't even inclusive. But you're a mom, and you have two wonderful kids who I've had the pleasure of meeting. So, I'm sure that's always been a layer to your life and a part of your life. I'll say definitely a big part of your life, obviously, but I'm sure has added some extra layers with still doing the work that you do and being at home and, having to, I'm sure be part teacher as like you have been always, but just with some extra hours added into the day. Yeah. But how have you been navigating the space during Rona, #Rona?
Right. I would definitely say in the beginning, to keep me sane, I had to begin counting blessings than the burdens. And then after I started counting those, one of them that sticks out that I'm no longer the magic school bus driver for my kids, which is a relief in these rush hour pre-Rona streets in DC, but now more of a full-time short order cook. How can I have it your way? So the main one has been my son, who without any kind of, how can I say, he has no problem to let me know he needs to eat. My daughter, on the other hand, is very much aware that I've been busy in a PhD program and managing all these other things. And so she has blossomed into puberty earlier than him as a 9-year-old, and therefore a level of maturity more than my 10-year-old son as well. And so I appreciate my little Ruby. Whereas my son has taken on an element that we see in men, which is woman feed me. So he keeps me busy in the kitchen. Luckily, I like cooking, but there are moments where I'm like, I need to be your success coach and teach you how to gain a sense of autonomy. So they have mastered, obviously, the art of making cereal. And they have also mastered the art of heating up a burrito for lunch. And then I make it my special to at least get a decent dinner together and on occasion lunch, but mainly keep the cooking to dinner and weekends. So it's been nonstop homemade cooking, which I definitely saw as a positive social experiment since we've known for since Let's Move under Michelle Obama that we have had um, progress made in grocery stores, in schools, not so much in restaurants when it comes to nutrition. And so I know um, it is economically not viable or politically correct to, make comments like restaurants should all be closed. But from a nutrition lens and anyone who's in the field of nutrition and dietetics, this is the secret moment we all have been wanting for very long, is what if we could wave a magic wand and have everyone cook at home? We know that we have some structural barriers in our communities that prevent people from doing that. And so that's why we have organizations that step in to help provide hunger relief from the food banks and other nonprofits in the area that is God sent work. But for those who have been able to be blessed to maintain some level of income and be able to pay for the rising costs in our groceries because of the broken, fragmented food system, um, they will fare well if nutrition literacy is at the heart of decision making, which we know has not, because under disastrous times, consumer psych research does show that people do self medicate with higher consumption in alcohol. That was quite apparent when you go through the grocery store aisles, as well as just high consumption in foods that give you a sense of nostalgia and comfort at a time when you feel crazy, insane at home. So food is one of those not only tools, but a means in which we see ourselves in that moment, which is a great timestamp. So hashtag banana bread has been trending. I did not even know that I was in sync with everyone else making banana bread. It's almost as like women's cycles becoming in sync. We were all thinking very similar food concepts during coronavirus pandemic. And so I think there's something to be said around, when I see the images of homemade dishes on social media, whether they're noteworthy of a Food Network premiere or not, the fact that people are making an attempt to get in their kitchens, create something with their own hands, feed it to themselves can be a very powerful moment of a sense of agency, a sense of sovereignty that we've been advocating for, and a sense of reflective that, damn it, you can do it. And it is possible, even if you may not want to know that you have the opportunity to, because everyone should know basic skills of survival. And we are definitely in a survival mode right now. And that is why our work with WANDA, with Nativsol, becomes even more important at this time as we look forward to providing more nutrition education, more literacy, more really consumer empowerment, that you can do it. And we are here to help by any means necessary.
Wow. Wow. Well, Tambra, as someone who's been planted in DC and in Ward 8 and living, and working and coordinating and collaborating, and also, as someone who serves on the DC Food Policy Council and as a health chair, which I actually just learned about recently, for the NAACP DC branch. My question is to you, what is the And you've spoken just a bit to that, just in a different way. But what is the state of health equity in our DC communities? These same, communities are marginalized communities that had been suffering from access on all sorts of levels, and how much more damaging how much more damage will happen, and maybe that's not the correct term, but that's what just comes to mind. How much more damage will we see due to COVID-19? Obviously, let's shout out to all the folks who've been, stepping up and still doing the work that needed to be done way before, and just continuing their mission. But what is the state of health equity, of our health equity in our DC communities, just being there planted and doing the work and that being your territory?
Well, obviously, when people think of health, they don't always think about food and nutrition. And so I would like to just open the scope of that in acknowledging the health system and food system work together. COVID-19 has exposed the importance of these essential services that are a human right, that should not be denied, that should be accessible, affordable, and of quality for everyone who is a human to be able to take advantage of. And so, what we've seen, and we have had exemplary leadership here in DC, which is a moment to be grateful for, whether it's those leading within the nonprofit space, those leading within government space, and making public health central in the decision making, because if we do not have health, we cannot get wealth. And that has to be an important understanding. And that was one of the key messages that we craft out of our health committee that I've been co-chair for the past, since really 2014. I've been a part of NAACP, our DC branch, which is more than 1,000 members strong, the most active in the country. We have been hosting webinars and acknowledging that more resources need to be available for the community, putting together a COVID-19 Black Business Directory, having our president serve on the Reopen Advisory Committee to inform on equity issues as it relates to our community. She resides in Ward 7, I in Ward 8, as well as the other 18 members, a part of our executive board. And so with that, the issue around health equity, we definitely have seen nationally African Americans who were thrown for a loop of this issue being called a hoax. That really pushed the conspiracy theories around this issue, provoking more misinformation and really a slow start of gaining hold of the serious nature of COVID-19. This past spring, I focused my paper in media law around health misinformation and COVID and how that plays out in social media platform policies, with some platforms more pushing the issue forward and combating the issue of misinformation better than others. And why is that important is because so long, because of the mistrust of the health system, which really speaks the mistrust of our relationship with the country, due to inequities that go back to the plantation era here in the US, that we have been, with good reason, skeptical of information and questioning of what is in the benefit for us. So for long, we did not see African Americans being impacted. You saw that misinformation happening, that we were some superhuman that cannot get COVID-19. And then you had NAACP and others advocating for a release of race data to show that we had an inkling that there would be a discrepancy, and it showed that pre-existing conditions, be it diabetes, heart disease, hypertension, renal failure, lung-related issues, would only exacerbate the issue of COVID-19 if you were to be infected. Some also have brought in the element of vitamin D, the nutrition aspect of how that also has only exacerbated if you are impacted by COVID-19. And so, with that, food and health becomes even more critical in this time. Policies that shape the structure in which we operate creates an enabling environment for us to thrive or not, on top of the individual decisions that we make to use the system or not. And so that's why it's a complicated relationship, and it's not one that can be glossed over in a simplified tagline when we say that, you just need to do better with your life. Like, that is not the message. We all have to operate as a community, be informed, care about everyone. And what the most recent reopenings have shown played out in the media is that some now believe that we don't care about everyone in the community, particularly African Americans. And that is not the wrong message, because we're all voters, we're all citizens, we all have rights, we all pay taxes, and therefore we should have equal access to the same services. So COVID-19 exposes the crisis on the crisis, that racism has been baked into the system, and it will play out whether it's a pandemic or not. We are not post-racial, and so we have to continue to operate in that freedom fighter spirit, that liberation only comes to those who fight for it. It is not given, and in the anniversary of Malcolm X's birthday that just passed yesterday, we acknowledge that the fight continues, whether it's the legacy of Dr. King or the spirit of Malcolm X. They all cared about Black people, and we have to care about ourselves enough to save ourselves when others may not. And that's why organizations that I've already spoke of, like NAACP and others, matter in being able to have a seat at the table and voice on behalf of the voiceless when others do not have the opportunity to do so. So,
All right, folks, we're going to take a really quick break, and we'll be right back if I can get that out.
You're listening to Perfect Day, produced by Artists Authentic. For more of Authentic's work, visit allornothingstudios.com.
This podcast is brought to you by Giant Food. Whether you are concerned about diabetes, heart health, losing weight, or just want to improve family meal times, Giant has a team of nutritionists ready to help you make the best decisions to meet your health and wellness goals. You can check out their personalized consultations online or by phone. Just go to giantfood.com/nutrition, or they have nutritionists who are available to answer any of your questions at nutrition@giantfood.com. All right, Tambra. So you are an advocate with just so many partnerships and activities and just everything up your sleeve. That's just one thing that I love about connecting with you, is that it like you said, the fight continues, and you are a fighter. And I just feel like, does Tambra sleep? Like, how does this girl sleep? So definitely want to just get into some other things that you are working on in the midst of COVID-19. And let me just be very clear that even if we weren't in this this climate crisis right now, like the work still continues, and Tambra would very much so still be doing this work. And so would all the other wonderful folks who are laying the groundwork. But let's talk about this Cooking with Soul project that you got going on. What's brief us? Let us know the deets.
Yes, no problem. So I had the great fortune to work prior with the U.S. Botanic Gardens over the winter time of last year, and so they brought me back to develop Cooking with Soul series, which will be a sharing of food for the culture. And we will kick off for the Juneteenth week. Everything from jumping with Jubilee with okra and tomatoes. Yes, don't hate the veggie, hate the cook. And so we are definitely wanting to share the linkage between food, culture, and liberation. And that is to me the new form of health, that health serves as a vehicle to continue your God-given purpose. And so we want to share some favorite food items that I grew up with and that I've also just made it a part of my culinary repertoire of understanding that food is a sense of identity, food is our culture, food is our medicine, and food helps build community. So we definitely look forward to you joining us. The first of several videos will be posted during Juneteenth week at the usbg.gov slash at home or slash cooking site, but it will be there. And also you will get updates on Instagram, on their USBG page, and on Facebook as well. And also on my social media, I'll post as well. So you can find me at facebook.com slash Tambra Raye and on IG and Twitter as well. And we will, and just to give you a flavor of what some of the themes will be, I already shared about the Jumping with Jubilee, but also for 4th of July weekend, looking at freedom in the form of mocktails. So alcohol free, using different variety of fruits, and also hibiscus is one of my faves to go to. And so we're going to get the kids involved in that project. Also, do-it-yourself dressing. So many people are making way out of no way with dressings, especially when those uh, deadlines or the expiration dates on dressing, like, and they're also just unhealthy ingredients, like just make it yourself. And we're having summertime teas and tonics. Everyone's looking to boost their immunity, and so we definitely want to share how to like take your herbs that you're growing or that you just get online and buy. And then we have a theme around from heartland to the homeland. So coming and growing up from Oklahoma, like, and making that connection to Africa and finding my roots, like being able to share dishes around that. And then some may be going back to the school, some will be going back to the beach. And so we want to create, Caribbean inspired like dishes, and everything is plant based, cultural focused, and health forward that we want to be able to share. So we look forward to having these short little videos for you to be inspired and walk away with more creativity as your secret sauce to really electrify your kitchen and your plates for you and your family and friends as well. So that's an exciting project.
That sounds so exciting. And listen, two things. I don't ever hate the veggies. I'm about the veggie life always. And secondly, there's nothing like making your own salad dressing. I feel like some people underestimate that. It's like, I got to go run and get salad dressing. I'm like, no, you don't. Do you have some olive oil? Do you have some lemon, some pepper, some sea salt? Like, come on now. Come on, no, that's awesome. I look forward to seeing more on that. Awesome. I told y'all she has a lot up her sleeve. Again, I don't know when you sleep, how you sleep, but you got it going on. So, Tamra, what is up with how is my homegirl Little Wanda doing? What is she up to? And for those who don't know about Little Wanda, can you introduce Little Wanda to those who don't know about Wanda? And that will also serve as a reintroduction to those who know about Wanda.
Yeah, so Little Wanda is our aspirational character who is the food hero that really is going to come not only save her family but her community from all the junk food and really, foods that are dyed, fried, and laid to the side. So she's all about meals that will heal you, not kill you. And she's the chief culinary inspirator in the Where's Wanda book series. So we are working on 2 more books to finalize. We were in the business of looking at doll production, but we are putting that on pause with COVID happening right now for obvious reasons. However, she will be coming to life in other forms, and online will be one as we finalize a project that looks to democratize our culinary, cultural, nutrition education featuring the Wanda crew. So little Wanda is a part of that crew, but also Mama, Auntie, and Nana Wanda too. So we have all these Wandas to you and inspire
Hello?
you. Yep, I'm here.
Sorry, you kind of went out.
Yeah. So I will
So wait,
look
let's
forward
just
to.
pause and we'll pick back up. So let's just pause. I'll count
Yeah,
down and then you'll pick back up because it faded out. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead.
so I definitely look forward to sharing more of little Wanda as she goes virtual and democratizing our culinary, cultural focused nutrition education. So we are in the midst of developing the WANDA Academy. And so that will be a platform for us by us as it relates to really building a community that's safe, supportive, sisterhood that's focusing on self love and service. And so it's an opportunity to bring Wanda women, whether you're Auntie Wanda, Nana Wanda, Mama Wanda, or just Big Wanda. And so these are our characters who become the village to help raise and grow little Wanda to be that food hero to save her community one meal at a time. And so we look forward to, in this times of COVID, recognizing that we may be physically distant, but we can be socially connected, and digital spaces give us that opportunity to do that and continue the work of self love and healing ourselves one meal at a time. So that is coming forward through a pilot. And we look forward to sharing more in the coming future of what that will look like as we build out.
Well, I know that little Wanda has in the past found a cure for Nana. I'm wondering, should we put her on the committee to help find a cure for COVID-19?
You know,
Probably shouldn't be joking about that, but we may need her, Tambra.
No, that is very true. As you know, Madagascar has identified not only a plant that has helped malaria in the past. They're saying that it's now turned into an herbal product to help with COVID-19. So obviously, um, advocating for safe, ethical clinical trials is important, but it also is changing the narrative that Little Wanda advocates for, that Africa can heal itself. And that is one narrative that should not be denied, but should represent what the future for it should look like. We know that tropical medicine has been able to be the heart of pharmaceutical companies and synthesizing the essential ingredients to make their current products that's sold in the West. And so being able to find those not only food but herbal and plant cures has always been part of the healing secrets that Africa holds. And so being able to educate more people around that is vitally important. It's education that we won't find in a traditional classroom in the West. And so that's the beauty about online education, is being able to provide more of a bigger, better platform to change that narrative as well and build community together.
Awesome. All awesome. Tambra, I know you shouted out some social media links earlier, but please remind our audience where they can find you if they would like to connect.
Most definitely. So I am on LinkedIn, just as Tambra, and also on Instagram as Tambra Raye, TambraRaye. And also for WANDA, we are Instagram.com/_I am WANDA ORG. Same for Twitter, Tambra Raye and WANDA, I am WANDA ORG, and on Facebook, Tambra Raye and I am WANDA ORG. And the website, iamwanda.org and tambraraye.com. You can go to learn more and connect with us and slide into the DM, post a question, ask how to get involved, and we would be happy to connect with you. So thank you again for having me on your platform today.
Whew, that's a lot. I hope y'all had a pen and paper to write all that down. I told y'all Tamra does a lot. Well, thank you, Tamra. It was nice just to catch up with you and just see what you've been working on in the midst of all of this. And like you said, the fight continues. The work does not stop. So just appreciate everything that you're doing. But I can't let you go just yet. You know the drill. You know how Edible Activist gets down. I got a few rapid fire questions for you. And because you've done this before, this is going to be in real time, right? So the first one I'm going to ask you, what is your favorite veggie right now?
Does the bean count?
Sure, go for it.
Yeah, I've been eating a lot of beans, making my own homemade bean burritos, to having bean and rice dishes. Anywhere I can eat a bean, I'm eating beans. Get the fiber in.
I love it. I love it. We need to talk offline about these homemade burritos. I need to get into it. All right. So what is your favorite fruit right now or in season?
Well, I do love, I've been eating a lot of like the golden, like champagne mangoes. That's a whole breakfast within itself with a bag of almonds and water. And blending it into a smoothie, like, a cold, good mango is heaven.
Ooh, that sounds delicious. Okay. Tamra, this is a new one for you. Sweet, spicy, sour, salty, savory, or bitter?
I really have to pick one because they're all like a symphony in your mouth if you make a really good Thai eggplant dish. You can have all those flavors and not ever have to choose.
All right, so that's my answer. All of them, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so last one. What has been heavy on your music playlist these days? If you've been listening to anything, music, could be ebooks, what have you. What you been listening to, girlfriend?
That would have to be Toast with Coffee for sure. And if you need a quick sample, I'm happy to share that with you because that is definitely number one.
Wow. All right. Toast for coffee. Toast with coffee or toast for coffee?
Yes.
Did I get it right?
Yep, that's it.
Okay, perfect. All right, I have to check it out. Well, Tamra, thank you so much again. I really appreciate you. Thank you all for listening. Have a wonderful day and peace.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We are here live on Full Service Radio every Wednesday at 11 a.m., where you can catch today's episode on fullserviceradio.org, as well as iTunes and Spotify. Be sure to follow me at Food Talks in Color on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Are you an edible activist? Sure you are. Come join me on the show. I would love to feature you. Just shoot me a DM on the gram. Peace and blessings all. And remember, there is no culture without agriculture.